Nice.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, and not so gentlemen, we are here for podcast 42 of the Overkill Podcast. We are approaching a year. In 10 more podcasts, we'll be at a year. I'm Meta. I'm here with Kirby.
Yo, it's your boy, Kirby.
If you don't know by now, you probably just saw this episode. Okay.
Last week's episode was really cursed, so.
Last week's episode was cursed.
Hopefully
I felt sick.
Better.
I still feel a little sick, but I can at least talk now. Took a whole week off work. Not ideal because I'm going to have a million things to do when I get back. Just cursed. And, yeah, I guess let's get into it.
Yeah.
Hopefully the cats don't curse this one too.
Yeah, so to start off, I think we should go over the big blog post that we got for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Season 1. Everything that you need to know, baby. So
everything.
I'm gonna be honest, we're not big into Warzone, so we don't have too much Warzone information. They also really didn't give too many. They just kind of showed off a little bit of like the Area 99 map, which we've seen a lot of, but we haven't gotten to play it yet. So that's coming on the 14th. In terms of the maps that we have this one map, Hideout. I think it's gonna be pretty good. To me, it kind of reminds me of like a shoot house style map, or like a kill house from the original Modern Warfare, COD 4. I think that'll be a good map. We have this one map, Heirloom, which is a 2v2 map. It's going to be able to be played in 6v6. This map, to me, it reminds me, it's very similar kind of layout and style to like Warhead, although with different aesthetics and stuff like that. But I think the layout-wise, it's pretty similar to Warhead, which we've had in the game for a while. So if you like those small maps, it'll be another one. And then we have Extraction. This one, again, they're saying it's medium-sized, but to me, it still looks really, really tiny. It looks like a 2v2 map. And also, I believe this is also on the Avalon map, which, the reason the maps in like Bo6 feel so weird is because they're all taken from this Warzone map that's called Avalon that we don't know too much about, but if you like spawn into Bo6 maps, you can go into spectate mode in a private match, and you can go around and fly around and look at all the different POIs. And almost all the Bo6 maps are on that map. So I think they're kind of like reusing Warzone maps, and that's why like the game feels so like, that's why the maps feel like they aren't multiplayer maps, because they aren't.
Got it. So they're taking the lazy approach like they did for was that Cold War, where they just like imported a bunch of old maps, or they remade a bunch of old maps and then put them in multiplayer and in the.
It was, well, with Modern Warfare 2019, I remember a lot of those maps were on the Warzone map as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the DLC ones, but
I really dislike that.
Yeah.
Because they don't even update them for like multiplayer, usually.
No. And a lot of the maps in this game too are taken from campaign almost directly, so it's whereas like back in the day you would have maps that were from the campaign, but they were at least changed a little bit. But yeah, moving on from that, we have Hacienda, which is a remaster from Black Ops 4. This is coming mid-season, so it's not coming at launch, but it'll be there. We're thinking around December 14th is sort of the midpoint. We have Racket, another 2v2 map. We don't have an overview of this, which is kind of interesting. So we don't know exactly what the layout is. to me, it looks like there's like 4 corners, and then there's like a bulldozer thing. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but a piece of machinery like in the middle, and that looks to be what it is. So it looks really small, kind of shipment-esque, I feel like. But that is 2v2 and 6v6. So, and then lastly, Holiday Nuketown, which is just snowy Nuketown with a little bit of Christmas aesthetic. So that's why people are thinking this is gonna come like December 14th, because it's like right before Christmas. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of like map variants, but if it's like something they can quickly like put together and put out, I'm fine with it. And I think this is kind of one of those cases. Hopefully they don't go like overboard with it though. And then lastly, a couple more things. We have this new mode, Ransack, where basically you loot gold bars and you drop them off of your cache sites. It looks like there's going to be like random crates around the map that you loot. And you can also steal from the enemy's caches. So it's kind of like a little bit of a capture the flag-esque. Or like, I think Grind was it in Modern Warfare 2019?
Oh, yeah.
Very similar to that. And then lastly, we have Prop Hunt. This is, it's Prop Hunt. We know we've played Prop Hunt before.
Yeah, we've played it on Gary's mod, especially. No, but in COD too.
They also have some perks. They have new kill streaks, new wild cards. To me, this doesn't really matter too much. I don't think it's going to be a big thing. I'm glad to see that they're at least adding some new perks and wild cards throughout the seasons. I hope they keep it up. But, yeah. And then lastly, one last thing. We have a brand new Zombies map confirmed for Season 1. Citadel des Morts, which basically just means Citadel of the Dead. It's a new Zombies map. We don't know too much about it. We just have one screenshot. There's going to be a new perk, ammo mod, tactical equipment, and then it looks like a new boss of some kind. 3 new gobblegums, and then you obviously have more augments that come in with the field upgrade and the other stuff. So,
do we have any info on these gobblegums?
No, we have. They haven't revealed anything about any of this. Supposedly, this map is going to come out early December, and then the mid-season update is going to be a little later, like 2 weeks after, maybe. So that's why I think that's what the leaks are saying. There's going to be like a 1.75 update. And I think that's going to be either the Zombies map or it's going to be the Reloaded portion.
Yeah. Okay.
The rest of this blog just goes over Area 99, which honestly, it's not the biggest thing to me. I mean, it's a new small map for Warzone. If you're into that, it's gonna be good time.
It looks cool. Might try it. I don't know.
We're not big Warzone guys.
Something that I would be excited about is they're bringing back Uzbekistan for Warzone, but Warzone is Warzone, so you'd really have to try to get me back in. Not gonna happen. And Rebirth Island, which I definitely dislike a lot, is coming back as well.
Oh yeah, I guess we did kind of skip over this, but there is 5 new weapons. And then they have a melee weapon, or 2 melee weapons, and then they have a couple of like aftermarket parts. They're not calling them aftermarket parts this time around, but new attachments for weapons. The Dragon's Breath, and then they have a burst fire conversion. I guess they're calling them conversion kits now, or conversions, but yeah, I mean, a couple new attachments, nothing too big. It's your standard, they're adding SMG, sniper, shotgun, 2 SMGs actually, and then 1 assault rifle, so.
Right, it's a good
content. Good content to look forward to. Pretty big season. We have tons of stuff for zombies, tons of stuff for multiplayer. lots from Warzone. So
Yeah,
looks
they're
like
always
be
going to
pretty
give
good.
Warzone love.
Yeah, looks to be a pretty good time. So.
Yeah, and I guess I'll mention right now I have the game on Xbox Game Pass. I acquired a month free from a family member, and so I figured, well, we will finally play some Black Ops 6. I do have to say the download speed from the Xbox like PC store is really fast. So I don't know if that's like a Steam problem or if Xbox like invested in like making downloads faster or something, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had
What
the
the
game
case, but yeah.
downloaded in like
What was
30
your what was
minutes.
your what was your like thoughts on it? Because I don't think you played too much of it, but we did get a few matches in.
Yeah, and I didn't play anymore after that. I had some other stuff to do. But I liked it. I could definitely see myself getting on, clowning around. People are way better than me, as to be expected, especially whenever I play with you. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I like if I'm playing by myself, I can play way more normally, where I can like kind of go around the outskirts, be more aggro, count on like swinging swinging gunfights in my direction by strafing and crouching and hiding behind things. But yeah, I find when I play with you, I have to play a little more reserved or whatever. But it's fun. I'm really interested in trying out the zombies, so we'll probably have some thoughts on that next week. I've heard the zombies is really good, and I probably will buy it eventually on Steam, just because I don't like the subscription model of anything. So
Yeah. It'll probably by then be on sale. I think it. I don't know. I'm surprised they haven't put Bo6 on sale, but I think they might do it for like Thanksgiving. They usually do it like Thanksgiving, Christmas time around there. So
yeah, I assume probably
yeah,
Christmas time for this one.
yeah, because it's actually pretty decent. But
Yeah, they'll probably hold off a little bit. And I'm sure their sales do go up even when it's only like 10% off or whatever it is. Which brings it back to its normal price of like $60, bro. Okay. It's also really hard to I'll just say this, it's really hard to distinguish between the Call of Duties because they're all on the same bones. They're all on the same what's the word I'm looking for? Engine.
Engine, yeah.
And you can tell with this one they tried to add in like some physics values and some like movement animations and reload animations that try to make it feel like the original kind of Black Ops in a way. You can definitely tell they've modified it a little bit, but it really doesn't feel that different from any of the previous CODs all the way since 2019. But, that's fine. I like the theming a lot more, and I like the weapon balance a lot more.
Yeah, I will say, I will say this year they've really done a good job with balancing all the weapons because normally in Call of Duty you always have that like one standout weapon, and I feel like this year we've had a few of those, but we haven't seen too many of. We haven't seen too many standouts. I think the Model L is the only one that I've seen that's been really popular, and
Mm-hmm.
that's because if you hit one headshot, it goes down from 4 bullets to 3. Um, but other than that, I mean, most of the guns are really balanced. There hasn't been like a standout weapon. Ever since the beta, they nerfed the Jackal, and it's been pretty in line with the other SMGs. So yeah, I'm really happy with what Treyarch's done. So.
Yeah, it seems good. I mean, I'll definitely have more thoughts once I get to play zombies. I'm really excited to play zombies, especially because the weapon you can level up weapons in zombies. But yeah, I'm really hyped.
Based. Well, I guess we can move on. You got this
Yeah,
Donkey Kong story, baby.
yeah, I have a couple of short stories. As always, I like to come in with some random stuff. So, I guess after 29 years, a Donkey Kong Country 2 player has discovered a cheat code that lets you quit any level, lets you exit any level, whether it's new or old. Which, I mean, that's cool. I guess he had decompiled some code from it, and he saw this line, and he was like, "Well, let's
Huh.
let's just try it." So, I guess we can cover the code. It doesn't really matter, but you can pause. You hit right and Y, left and A, up and B, and down and X, and the sound will play, and you'll be back at the world map. I added this story because I always think it's really cool whenever you have a game that's essentially 3 decades old, and you can go back and there are still little cheat codes and stuff that no one has found, or at least no one's decided to make public.
Yeah. I feel like this game has had 2-player mode though. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but maybe I'm
Why?
thinking
Did this mention something about 2-player mode?
No, maybe it's just like a
This
what
has
do you
always
call it?
had
Like
2-player mode.
yeah. That's what I could have
What are you
sworn.
talking about?
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
never
this is for
mind.
Donkey
We're
Kong
talking
Country
from
2. This is for the second one.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
I thought it was a cheat code that allowed you to play 2 players. I'm dumb.
something random about this game is I used to have a babysitter named Brittany. Whenever I was like, I don't remember, I was probably like 12, and she would sometimes I would go over to her house to be babysat, I guess is the correct verb. And I remember she would sit me in front of her. I believe it. Yeah, it was a SNES, and I would play Donkey Kong Country 2. I have very fond memories of this game, although I'm pretty sure I never got past like level 3, because I usually only had like an hour or two, and this game's really hard whenever you're a child.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a little bit of the original Donkey Kong Country, and yeah, and those like the old games, they're brutal. They're even brutal for adults, I think. It just
Oh yeah, they're not easy games. Cats, I need you
they're
to
fun.
chill. Yeah.
But they're fun, and they had a lot of love put into them, which I don't know. Nowadays, you don't really get that too much, but
No, not at all. I've always loved the art style of Donkey Kong Country. It probably is one of my favorite art styles of all time. That like old school kind of pixel arty style is just really cool. And it's kind of mixed with like I don't believe they're actually 3D sprites. Of course not, but I've always just loved the like contrast of the style. Some people say it's cursed, but that's fine.
but yeah, it was trying to be like pseudo 3D. Basically, it was like they took a 3D model and then they would like basically make it 8-bit. Like take a picture of it, make it 8, or 16-bit or whatever. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of comes off a little weird, but I think if you kind of understood what they were going for, it looks okay.
As someone who draws art occasionally too, I've always really liked like the backgrounds actually have shadow. It's like if there's like a barrel or like a box, it actually has a shadow that like goes into the background, and then the foreground of that object is really bright. So shout out to the artist that did this game. But I've always liked that. And the cats are shaking my desk again. Good job.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I guess we'll move on. I kind of have an interesting story here, but apparently, so Sega, of course, we know them from Sonic and other game franchises, but they've actually really been hitting it out of the park with movies, and then most of their revenue now is actually coming from movies. And it looks like they also made a live action Like a Dragon from the Yakuza series on Amazon Prime. I had no idea about this, but
well, we could always watch it.
yeah. But the company announced a couple of game revivals, and it looks like they're gonna do Eternal Champions, Golden Axe, and Shinobi. I have no idea who those are, but I thought it was kind of interesting because I'm a big Sonic fan. So, hopefully we get some more Sonic games. I hope eventually they remake Sonic Adventure 2 or remaster it or something.
That would be
I don't
awesome.
know. Reimagine it. Yeah, I think it was just kind of interesting. They kind of go over, more businessy stuff, but
here's something I've always been curious on the Sonic movie. If you remember how his eyes were like spread apart, do you think that was like a PR move to like get people talking, or do you think they just thought that was a okay design?
I think they thought it was an okay design.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
His eyes are like still apart, but they're not like as apart as they were. I mean, but does it look more cursed than like? So the original Sonic design, his eye is like one eye. His two eyes become like one eye in the middle.
Yeah. I
So,
can't
like,
forget it. It's burned into my
So
brain.
like what? I mean, which one's more cursed? Because once you look at it, you always think that he's a Cyclops. Like once you see it, he's always a Cyclops. You know.
Sonic is still a Cyclops in my mind.
So like his design has always been kind of weird in that way. But like to me it kind of, I think his original design looks more like anime-esque. Where like whenever they did like modern Sonic, they tried to make him more into like a
Western cartoon character. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean I don't know. They could have done that, as like a PR move. I think they probably did.
My guy switched. Yeah, I lean towards they probably were gonna try to do it with that original design, but they thought they would release the trailer and see what happens, because they were really quick in going back and changing every scene of the movie to have the corrected eyes. So.
All right, yeah, maybe they had like a couple people watch it and kind of like focus grouped it a little bit, and like they kind of got like a 50-50, like, oh, I like the design, and 50-50 were like, it's kind of horrifying. So maybe they just were like, you know what, let's just focus test it to the people.
Maybe
Like
pretty based if they did.
But yeah, pretty interesting. It looks like they're kind of becoming one of like the big competitors in Hollywood with all their movies and stuff. But yeah, kind of a interesting,
I believe it,
story.
Dude. Video games have been killing it, or video game movies have been killing it. At least the ones that have been done well.
Yeah.
Don't rip up my jacket, cat.
Kind of. Then you got a little Power World story here, bro.
I do got a little Power World. Power World's another game that I played a little bit of whenever I had Xbox Game Pass. And it's not a game that I wouldn't mind probably buying it on Steam and owning it. Yeah, as we covered a couple weeks ago, Nintendo did file a lawsuit. And it turns out the lawsuit is not about the patents of creatures, of animals and stuff, because I guess that's not something you can patent, really. Here's something odd. First off, I didn't know Japan had patents. I kind of assumed it was like China, where like China doesn't really have patents. But it turns out Japan does have patents. And in this story, it's on GameSpot if any of y'all want to find it. But to cut to the chase, there are 3 patents that they're filing this lawsuit on. It is about the mechanics of throwing a ball at a character, riding characters, and shooting at targets. Odd.
Interesting. Yeah.
They are asking for a injunction against Power World plus 5 million yen. An injunction is where they have to stop. I believe that's where they have to stop distributing it. And 5 million yen is about $33,000 in American with late fees. Yeah, I don't. Oh my gosh, cats. I don't know if I'm gonna have to start putting them in the bathroom. I don't know if this story is I don't know if this story is really like that big, because I'm gonna be impressed if they win this. I don't really know how lawsuits work over in Japan. Each country is very different regarding like how their legal system works and how their court proceedings work. So I don't know how this will pan out, but it's definitely interesting that they decided to pick out those 3 mechanics to target. I'm never a big fan of lawsuits, and I don't really care about Pokemon that much, but I think Power World's a lot more fun than any Pokemon game has been. Just to be fully honest with you.
To me, it's just wild that you can go at, like, they could go after, because, like, I feel like that's, like, pretty basic mechanic. Like, like, for instance, like, if I rode a horse that has, like, a name, is that like riding a character in a game? I would, you know what I mean? Is like shooting targets. That to me, like, it's like pretty basic game mechanics here that I feel like any.
I mean, what about Zelda, right? What about? I mean, I know it's all Nintendo IPs, but what about like Witcher? Like you ride a horse in The Witcher. Like, is any game where you
like shoot a bow or something? Yeah.
What about World of Warcraft, where you ride weird creatures all the time?
Yeah. Interesting.
Very odd. But yeah, I just thought I'd provide more details on that because I think it's really stupid. Pokemon. I hate to say it. I've never thought Pokemon's that original of an idea to begin with. I mean, it's literally just dog fighting that you just throw, you just catch these creatures and then they fight. It's like, okay, I thought of that when I was like 12 too. Cool. No. Just to go full scorched earth on Pokemon, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's cute creatures fighting, It's like the ultimate kid's dream, or yeah. I don't know. We're not big Pokemon guys,
We're not. I've gotten rid of most of my Pokemon games.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, I get the appeal. It's just too slow for me.
Yeah. Well,
anywho,
I guess we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you move on. I'm gonna let you introduce it, and I'm gonna go get the cats up.
Yeah. So this story comes in from IGN. It's Nintendo share prices have rebounded after the Switch 2 backwards compatibility was confirmed. So we do have confirmation that Nintendo Switch software will be playable on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. This is a great thing, just so that way, you don't have to get rid of all your Nintendo Switch games, or you don't have to keep your Switch around, you could, if you wanted to, you could, sell your Switch back to GameStop and maybe get trade it in for a Switch 2. So there is some benefit to this, or you could just sell it on eBay and then take that money and buy a Switch 2. But because GameStop is going to give you like 2 pennies for it, so
Yeah.
but yeah, you could. This is such a good move. W Nintendo. I don't know what to say. I mean, Nintendo is. They are out of maybe the only company that's better than them at backwards compatibility is Xbox, but that's also because Xbox has only been in the generation, or has only been there since the 5th generation.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have too much software to make backwards compatibility. Nintendo been in the game much longer. I mean, they really, if they wanted to, they could just take emulator from the internet and put it on the Switch. I think, weren't they caught doing that or no? I feel like I'm imagining this.
I don't remember them being caught doing that. I think you're making it up.
Okay.
They might have, though. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
That emulator should sue them, not for copying the emulator, but for using the idea of emulating Nintendo games under patent 5324. Okay. The Switch 2, I'm very hyped for it. I hope it comes sooner rather than later.
I know, we have like no information on it, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
I remember whenever the Switch 1 was kind of getting ready to be unveiled, people were like getting info all the time. But also it was during that like Wii U era where like nothing was happening with Nintendo. I mean, like zero.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe people I guess people have tried to make claims that they've done this, but it doesn't look like there's any evidence of them just ripping an emulator off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it looks like this guy is allegedly showing some CAD, which might be the most convincing stuff we have so far. 8-inch screen. The Joy-Cons connect with magnets now. 2 USB-C ports. The top one for camera and something else, and the bottom one for charging. Maybe even charging while on tabletop.
Wow.
Yeah, I would be shocked if this doesn't play Switch 1 games.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know how much, do you think it'll be, a big graphical improvement, or do you think it'll, because, what kind of games do you think?
I doubt we're getting 4K. I mean, especially not in handheld. We might get 4K in docked support. As far as, the screen, I doubt we're getting anything bigger than 1080 LCD. Graphical improvement, it's still going to be highly stylized, and that's just a fact.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think technology has moved forward enough since 2017. I think it'll probably be a 2K screen, which is still a lot. If you don't know, I believe if you have an iPhone 13, you have a 2K screen. So
I do.
It looks it'll look exactly like whatever you have on your iPhone, and that's good. That's good enough. If it's going to be on a small screen, now if it's on a bigger screen, yeah, you want it to be 4K. But small screen stuff like that, it's going to be fine. I think graphics. I'm
looking at my 13 right now.
I think the graphics will look somewhat like Xbox One. I don't think it'll be close to the PS4 Pro or the Scorpio. But I think it'll be similar. It'll be lower than the PS4, but higher than the Switch. It'll be kind of in that graphical range, I think.
So, and this has
I'm sure
12
most
gigs
games
of RAM.
will. Yeah, I'm sure most games will look or run at 30 FPS.
Yeah, like especially games like Skyrim.
Or Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, that game, the original Switch only had 4 gigs of RAM. This has 12. Yeah, I remember I had a friend. I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast, but whenever we lived in the apartment together, he was big on Mortal Kombat, and he was like, "I'm gonna buy Mortal Kombat." Like he bought it the day it released, and I was like, "Oh, cool." I thought he was gonna buy it on like PC, right, on Steam. No, my guy bought it on the Switch, and we played 2 matches, and it ran at like 20 frames, and it would drop down to like 2 randomly. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Like it ran so bad. The inputs were impossible to pull off. I'm amazed they even tried to sell it on the Switch.
Yeah, it was really rough.
And that was in docked mode, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the only console that has sold better than the Switch, or I think the Switch has beat the Wii at this point, or maybe I'm wrong, but
Honestly, as it should have. Here we go. It successfully.
yep, it sold more
Yeah, I think it did more than the DS too.
in June 2023. Yeah. So I would be really shocked if
The Switch is a home run.
yeah, I would be really shocked if we get the Switch in 2025. I feel like it could be a 2026.
Yeah, me too. I don't think it's a 25 deal.
Because like I feel like the thing is though is I remember when did they announce? I think they announced the Switch one in like November, and then it came out in March. So if they don't like unveil it in the next month, I would say it's a 2026
Yeah.
drop. But yeah. Anyways, I think enough speculation on the Switch. I think we'll
I'm really excited. I hope it's good.
the number 2 anyway.
The announcement is allegedly supposed to be in March 2025.
Interesting. Okay.
And based on their other releases, that means allegedly mid 2025. I do not believe that. But okay. All right. This next story is just another short one. It's about web fishing. Any of y'all have played web fishing? I just thought it was interesting. I don't know how anyone feels about it, you know. I have a few people that I don't know if I'm like friends with, but I'm acquaintances with online that are part of the LGBTQIA boys and gals. But in this game, there are little titles you can earn. In this game, if you don't know, it is basically Animal Crossing fishing with like just clothing and customization. You can be a cat or a dog. There's you just catch different fish and you hang out, and it's really popular with art on Twitch. But I guess a player mentioned in a Steam forum they requested a straight title be added. Sorry for the phone. And the developer did. They were just like, why not? There was already a queer title. There's also a non-binary title. So they went ahead and added a straight title. Which is kind of surprising for a game to do.
Wow. Yeah, it is pretty based.
I don't think the developer really cares. He's just like, whatever makes people happy. I mean, you can literally buy a cigarette and have your character smoke a cigarette.
Interesting. So, how long does it take to get like 99 fish bucks? Like, is that like 12 fish or something? You're like,
No. So,
because I haven't played this game.
it depends. It depends on how far you are in the game. if you are first loading up the game and you're just catching fish with like the base worms, that's honestly probably like at least 1,000 fish. That's a lot. Um, that's a lot of fish. If you're at like my level where you're about 3 hours in, I actually don't know how far I am in, but we'll just say 3 hours in, and you've upgraded your. Oh, I'm 15 hours in. Most of that's sent idle though, so I'm gonna go with like 5. Let's say 5 hours in, and you've upgraded your stuff to like level 3 stuff, and you go out and you have like 4 different kinds of bait, and you're catching all these different fish. It's probably about like 400, 300 fish. Obviously, if you're a really high level, I think you could get it in like probably one fishing trip, so probably like 50 fish. But yeah, it has a lot of different titles. My favorite one right now is Strongest Warrior. Obviously, for God's Strongest Warrior. So it has all kinds of meme titles and stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Some, I guess, are people having like a breakdown about this, or because, in my opinion, if you're gonna like represent everyone, you have to have a representation for straight people as well, and white people as well.
Yeah,
and men.
well, that's something that games are not willing to do these days.
I know. I'm really. That is really shocking to me that.
Yeah, he just did it.
They would do that.
I think it's a he.
I think
it's a single dev.
Yeah, it's. It reminds me of that one situation where there's this one game and it would only allow you to date. It would only allow you to date the opposite sex, and these people were like angry about that because they couldn't do same-sex relationships, and the developer like literally told them like, no, I'm not. Number one, that takes a long time to do, and I don't have the time, basically. And they were really angry at him, and I'm like, well,
I mean don't buy the game.
Yeah, you can either don't buy the game because he made it for the majority of people.
I don't buy a lot of games that I disagree with.
And also, like, who cares? It's a video game, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Anyway.
Well, see, that can be used for both angles. But yes.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it's pretty based.
Honestly, it's pretty based.
That's it for the episode, baby.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe we'll cover, I might get this game and cover this game, Lo-Fi Spirit City, or Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions. Alright, that's it.
Yeah, well, it's been your boys, Kirby and Meta. Peace.
Adios.